It's got to be personal, hasn't it? I mean, how do you go from losing a lawsuit that you've been basically dragged in the courts for 3 or 4 years, losing miserably, losing face, and then being given a graceful exit that if you were to just accept and go, then, everybody would forget it. No one would associate you so much as to be the loser that you are. But then, you're not happy with it. You go ahead and you appeal the lawsuit, or you appeal the decision, a decision that's pretty solid, right? That has a lot of legal backing to it, right? A lot of legal opinions have been given that the ruling was actually lenient for the SEC. It should have been more pro Ripple and anti SEC, but somehow they give you a free, get out of jail free card. But here you are, you're back in jail again. I mean, how do you turn a blind eye to what happened with Ethereum, right? ETHgate, and then allow an ETF of that, which means, of course, you're saying that it's not a security. How do you turn a blind eye to Cardano, Solana, and all those other tokens who are effectively clearly securities, right? How do you turn a blind eye to the EVM tokens that are sitting on top of Ethereum that by proxy and by default declaring that Ethereum is not a security, then those are not securities either. But then you have one for XRP, man. It's got to be personal. It's one of two things. First of all, it might be that, it might be a personal ego thing, right? It might just be that Gary Gensler has something against XRP and the XRP community and Ripple, etc., such that it just can't let go, right? Maybe he watches our YouTube channels, right? Maybe Gary Gensler is a YouTube watcher, a fan of our channels. So like every time we make those videos, basically crapping on the SEC, saying how Gary Gensler is a loser, etc., etc., maybe it's our fault. Maybe he wants to let go, but we don't let him, right? He's like a big troll and he's like, yeah, I'm coming back to troll you guys, Maybe he's an immature teenager inside, trapped in a grown man's body. The other thing, of course, is it might just be that this is being done on purpose. So, say BlackRock hasn't accumulated enough XRP yet, or the big organizations that want to do an XRP ETF haven't accumulated yet, or something else is happening and they know that XRP is going somewhere and they haven't accumulated yet. They want to keep the price down until the D-Day. Maybe XRP's association with BRICS is getting on their nerves and they want to sabotage that. I don't know what's going on. Either way, there's something special about XRP. There's something special and something different about XRP compared to the other tokens. And because of this, either way, whatever the situation is, it makes me even more bullish than I was before. I'm more annoyed than I was ever before, but I am bullish, if you know what that means. So while I'm not pleased, I'd rather we just get this whole legal thing behind us and march on and implement and do the things that we need to do, not having to drag through another year in court and then miss the bull run, right? I don't want that, but I am bullish because there is no doubt now, there can be no doubt that there is something special about XRP. Now, some people will claim to know what that is. Some people will claim that it's because it's the banker's token, it's the world CBDC token or whatever. It's going to replace the gold standard. It's going to be the world's bridge currency. There's so many reasons that people give, so many, phrases that you hear on the internet. Whichever one is true, it cannot be denied now that there's something special about XRP. Of course, there's been a response from, the lawyers and the legal minds and the, personalities in Ripple and associated with Ripple and XRP, and, stating how ridiculous this is. And of course, the YouTubers have also responded with the whole, hey, to the moon and all that sort of stuff. But, personally, I'm not going to budge. I'm not going to sell my XRP now that we're on the home straight. I know that these last things are just trials and tribulations of the XRP army. And partly it's also because of you guys, maybe you guys are so diamond-handed, right? That, they're shaking the tree and you guys are refusing to sell. Because to be honest, if this was like, I don't know, Solana, Arbitrum, Polygon, the price would have crashed down to 99.999% right now. You guys are so diamond handed that even though you've stood up to the government, someone with a private jet, it's a private jet flying over my head now. I'm sure you can hear it. All these billionaires. This probably holds XRP. Anyway, can we see it? Private jet is behind the thick cloud there. Can you see it? Anyway, so basically, any other token would have crashed 99.9%. Like, some of the tokens would have just completely gone away if they were to stand in front of this kind of lawsuit. Do you all remember Library? Library was the alternative to YouTube that was basically brewing, and the powers that be just weren't happy with a platform that they couldn't censor. A platform where people, content creators such as myself, can get on and create content, and they couldn't take it down no matter what we said. They couldn't control it. They couldn't, they couldn't throttle it. They couldn't shadow ban. They couldn't do all of those things. And a lot of the people, even though I don't agree with some of their points of view, were on there, sharing their opinion. Especially during the first Trump campaign, there were a lot of people on the right that were being shadow banned on YouTube, and they were being silenced. Also, some people on the left were also being silenced. And these people, both right and left, got on Library and used the Odyssey video platform and started publishing videos. And at times they'd get a takedown request from members of the government or some sort of political pack, and they couldn't respond because this was a decentralized, quote unquote, environment. Even though it wasn't totally decentralized, you could store the video on your own server, on your own computer, and publish it via the network, via the blockchain. And there's nothing they could do. They couldn't take your video down because it was resilient. And they weren't happy about that, right? And because of that, they had to take it down. They went through the courts. And even though Library actually won the case, they were so overwhelmed by the legal challenge, the legal weight of going to court, that they had to close down. I had a lot of Library tokens. They all just went to zero. Now, XRP, I think they were expecting it to collapse by now, regardless of whether or not they were wrong or right. I think the original intention was to overwhelm the system with the legal battering, the full arm of the government. They had the full support of the regime. And they came and they fought, but Ripple was up to the task. And you guys, the XRP army, you were up to the task. Diamond handed the whole time. Ripple, obviously spent a little bit of money fighting the lawsuit on behalf of all of crypto, by the way. And what did we get? More lawsuits, more scapegoating. But you know what? Now I'm even more bullish than before. I'm gonna, if there's a dip, I'm gonna buy a little bit more. I managed to get a little bit more powder, dry powder, not brown powder. Shout out to the guys that pointed that out in my last video. They actually watched and listened. That's good. So I'm waiting for the so-called dip to arrive. If it does, I've got my orders set at my levels. Not financial advice, of course. Do your own research. I will see you in the next one. Peace.